So apparently there's a Swiss core and then some Belgian additions and a couple of US pickups as well to fill the dropouts.
So you might notice as well they've got the Swiss flag on the right sleeve and a Belgian flag on the left sleeve, as Merica are going to be the first team on offense here this game, working it pretty comfortably so far, about 5 yards out from the end zone. Not seeing what they like. Good work there, utilising the poach. Keeping that disc moving, keeping the stall count low.
Straight up and two, straight up and two.
And taking advantage of those poaches, because you do get those players in a bit more space, as there's a slip in the end zone. And otherwise it looked so easy for Merica to that point. It's just always a bit tricky with one of the things you have to, pay attention to with the beach, and this is true regardless of what the age is. It's a bit easier to lose your footing perhaps.
Ooh.
So just getting some extra touch on those discs, often a little bit, often very helpful if you can manage it. As a big put is going to go up there, trying to get a couple of receivers underneath it, but had the body position nice and early, reached out with the hand to bring it in, did Patrese. And that is the first goal of the game, and it's a break to the Mountain Beaches.
Fantastic stuff. I know the Mountain Beaches have a very short roster, but they did manage to get some scrimmages on the beach in yesterday, whereas Merica did not. They got here 2 days ago, haven't really practiced much together as a team. So maybe during this game we'll see some more connections come together on this sand.
Yeah, we saw Merica have a little bit of an inter-team warm-up game yesterday, but it was not played with the utmost seriousness, I think it's fair to say, and there wasn't the full team available at that point, because everything just takes a bit more effort than it usually would on the grass or indoors.
That's true, and have to relearn how to jump, or realise that you cannot really jump as well.
It's funny what sort of things you're like, oh, actually, this maybe wasn't quite how you thought it was. So Merica coming back out on offense, and again, they seem to be working this nicely. I like the fact that they're dishing it off quite quickly as well, keeping the defenders constantly on the back foot. And there's going to be a stoppage there for the game's first pick. Players just resetting their positions. So this goes into the centre. Faking the hammer and then going for it at the second time of asking. Nicely done. Good way to finding that break side space. And that'll be the first point of the game for Merica. They tie things up at 1 apiece.
Very, very calm point there. Just walking it up the pitch, basically. So haven't taken long to click.
Yeah, it does feel like they are, with the exception of obviously the drop, they've had things relatively comfortably. So this is going to be the blading backhand pull towards the far side of the end zone. Watches it hit the turf, sand even. First of many, I'm sure. Rolls a little bit, and that allows Merica to get set early. And there's been a challenge to work it out of the end zone as that one is overthrown out of the sideline. And a great opportunity here on the short field for Merica to get back on serve.
Yeah, not really a lot of options for Mountain Beaches there. Everyone quite close to the disc. Slightly panicky.
So it can't be more than a couple of steps out, and they fake the inside with that lefty backhand. Now trying to utilise the full width of the pitch. 3 players stacked up in the centre, but a little scuba over the top.
Very nice.
Just dipping into the bag of tricks a little bit there, finding an opportunity that they liked, and then using it again, that little bit of creativity, some veteran savvy perhaps. First opportunity to say that of the weekend. And it puts Merica back on serve at 2-1.
So first break for Merica. Both teams now have 1 break.
I mean, this is it's a really cheeky little throw. We're seeing it again on the replay. Everything's nice, tight in the middle, gives them 2 sides to work with, and the force is a little bit backed off, and that means there's not enough pressure really to stop that little overhead as well. Should that come into play as well, just to make sure that both sides get a half theoretically, unless something really strange happens.
Oh,
as that one coming through from the backside, sneaking through a little bit unseen. I'm not sure the receiver just knew the defender was encroaching there.
yeah, not expecting that kind of bid.
And now he's going low, and it sneaks through the hands. Maybe thinking about the double happiness, but it doesn't quite land. That's So Mountain Beaches looking to put in their first point from offense on this game. And that one again is a little bit overthrown. It's a little bit wobbly. Hands on the disc, but a foul is called. Yeah, that's what you like to see. Just have the discussion, talk about it, come to a result quickly and get the disc back in play. Peter Nee with the mark for Merica, but actually good opportunity to get out of the line there. In a tight space, they've got a player going deep. If it stays in bounds, that is good. And the man known as Buddha brings it down for 2 apiece.
One of the team captains for Mountain Beaches there making a lovely long cut. His defender maybe just not thinking that the big throw would go.
I mean, you do see that quite a lot as well, especially early in games. Teams will, defensively, they'll shade under a little bit sometimes because it's a good test to see how, warmed up someone's arm is. Do they have that deep throw in the locker? Make them throw it. Make them show that you have to respect it and you have to defend it.
Absolutely.
One thing I will say is yesterday when we were setting up and making sure everything worked.
Over the decades, yeah. I think the hours probably mount up.
So the pull is caught just in the end zone. Merica now try and work their way downfield, back on offense. Here's Dan Powers, one of the captains for Merica. You may see the F yeah on the back of the shirt there. I think it would not surprise people to know that Merica were indeed named from Team America. Getting quite loud on the sidelines here, some encouragement. Kale now looking for an option downfield. I like the fact that when they haven't seen it, they are happy to take the resets if they're available.
With the longer roster as well, they are more than happy, or should be more than happy, to swing it around, have longer points, tire out the smaller Swiss team.
Yeah, the Mountain Beach is bringing 10, which is the minimum roster size this weekend, as opposed to 19, which is 1 below the maximum for America. As that is a lovely throw. An arcing trajectory all the way across the pitch, hitting the receiver in stride. And Merica take the lead once more. They're 3-2 up.
Beautiful vision from the thrower there, just seeing that cutter through, over all the other people. Just lovely round backhand. Gorgeous stuff.
Yeah, love the field vision there to have a look up and recognise that the player was open, and then also find the appropriate way of getting the disc there. But again, that over-the-top backhand is a good option. The hammer, I think, also would have been available there.
Haven't seen a lot of round breaks from Merica so far. They've been favouring the overheads a little bit more. So maybe, again, as they get a bit more warmed up, a bit more comfortable with the forces, we'll be seeing more breaks.
And again, just the force was a little bit far off there. You have the time to really pick your spot, execute properly on the form with that throw. So Mountain Beaches back on offense once more. Nice up the line cut there. Continuation, perhaps the timing's not quite synchronized there. Now Buddha has it underneath. Looking again down the line. Oh, is he in bounds?
So the rules here for the lines are, if you drag the line with your foot, it is in. But if you land and your foot is visible on the other side of the line, so it's underneath the line but your toes are kind of peeking out the other side, it is out.
Yeah, and landing on the line, of course,
yes.
It get like on it rather than under it is indeed also out. Apparently, so they made the rule change a couple of years ago because apparently it makes it clearer when someone is. Apparently it eased discussions, and they worked out that it made it easier to tell exactly when, just dragging the tape, make it in. It's easier to work out, exactly when were you dragging it, things like that. Nice cycling style cap look there, interesting one. As Merica try and put it deep. This is a brilliant long cut. Finds Davidson in the back of that end zone, right in the far corner, using the full depth of the pitch. And Merica take the first 2-point lead of the game now at 4-2.
And his defender there, number 42, credit to him for staying with him all the way, but Number 88 just had the better body position, was able to comfortably receive it. It's Chris Davidson with the score there from Merica.
It's a nice slap of hands there between the, well, for that point at least, victorious Americans. I was expecting a lot more kind of backwards caps, I'll be honest.
I mean, I can see 2, I think.
Yeah, like, I think one thing we will see is that there is ultimate fashion throughout the decades has kind of changed and developed. So, like at the moment, scoreboard in the background, so it's quite a novel way of doing it.
Repurposed for measuring when the tide comes in.
So Mountain Beaches, utilising the inside backhand with that channel and try to put it deep. That's a really nice read, actually, because just in the way, maybe guilty of tunnel vision, locking on downfield and not seeing the traffic in the intermediary. There's the upline cut there, but they don't like it. And they're all going over the top. Can they read it? Brilliantly read. And in the end zone? Well, now it is.
I think a travel is called as he hadn't moved out of the end zone. There we go.
Good spot as they take the little reset. Big, expressive fake, we'll call that. A little bit of traffic, but this time they do toe the line effectively. Goal is signalled, and that will be 5-2. Another break going Merica's way.
Merica loading the coal into their steam train, chugging along.
They're turning it on a little bit now. They've maybe took them a point or two to really kick into gear.
I imagine, again, also as the game goes on, those legs of the shorter roster of the Mountain Beaches are going to get more and more tired.
Yeah, it is first game of the tournament, so there's maybe not as much wear and tear in the legs as there will be in a couple of days' time. But yes, even first game in, you really do feel the difference. As much as I enjoy playing on the beach, you have to be so fit.
It's tough. It's
Also telling me you were saying that they were enjoying some of the local food because they could actually cook pasta at a rate that was reasonable. No, they're not at altitude. Our big layout bid is just a tad shy. And they're trying to take advantage, and there's a
collision.
I'm not sure if he slipped or if he got a little bit of a knock of knees, perhaps, giving them a granddad, which I think is, I mean, they're not that old, even though it is great grandmasters. So hopefully we'll see him back in the game. Nice bid comes through, but it just comes off the fingertips there.
Chris Hutu diving to try and save it. Not quite tall enough.
That's one of the advantages of playing on the beach, is that you can throw yourself around with a little bit more abandon than otherwise you would, because you're getting, theoretically, a nice soft landing.
As long as there aren't any sharp shells hiding, which there shouldn't be.
No, I would say that it's an immaculate surface for playing on. Still count rising a little bit there, so taking the reset, going with the hammer to the break side. Love the attempt, but the layout is not going to get there. And you can see now those hammers that perhaps they were not hitting earlier, they're throwing them a bit more freely now. They feel like they're locked and dialed in a bit more. Another break for Merica. It's gone from 2-all to being 6-4 in their favour.
I absolutely love the stalls zero hammer look. Just get the disc and immediately lob it into the end zone.
Hey, if it's open, why wait? And he sees it nice and early. And he's put, I mean, full credit to Mikorsky, because it looks like it's going to be another one of these blading backhand pulls. Quite effective because it prevents the other team from attacking the disc and taking it early.
Schwartz on the disc there, looking to head down.
Yeah, looked downfield for a couple of seconds, but didn't like it. Did a good job of activating the reset. A little bit of a slip, taking advantage of it now. Rene has it on this near side. Underneath for Schwartz. Nice reaching snag there with the left hand.
Excellent grab under pressure.
And again, tight on the sideline, but Buddha brings it in. Going for a hammer of his own to the break side. Beautiful, kneeling down in the front corner of the end zone for Mountain Beaches. Well, it looks like they've both got a little bit of stuff in the locker.
It's a nice little mirror from the last point. Same direction, same throw. And I think Mountain Beach is showing fantastic calmness under that very tight defense from Merica.
And we mentioned that it is difficult to keep up with your opponent on beach. So often you will see players, they will sit a little bit more open side than perhaps they otherwise would, so they get that positioning nice and early. But it means if you can access that break side space, then there's a bit...
Really lovely. It's got some fantastic scenery.
And the thing that I've found is that people were surprised quite how big it was. Which, I mean, you look at the map, it's not small, but yes, there was an airstrike which paid to those pounds, so we flew into Olbia on the north, and then via a coach. I like that even in Italy, still affected by rail replacement services, and then a train got us down here as well. So here's Merica looking to put the point in for half. Nice little high release. Oh, fingertips on it, but no more than that, and it does work its way into Merica's hands, and now they're trying to ramp up the tempo here, and they find that little channel through to knee, and that will be half to Merica, 7-3 to the good. That was so close for Mountain Beaches.
Yeah, got to catch your Ds, but incredible effort.
Yeah, I always feel sometimes it's like, I'm sure they were trying to catch it, and sometimes you see it late, but this is the thing, if you catch your D, then it doesn't give the other side an opportunity.
Yeah, it did look like slightly more of a sort of an errant arm, flailing to get the D, as opposed to he looked like he had his back to it a little bit. But incredible sort of disc awareness to be able to get fingers on it regardless.
Yeah, nice effort there from Matthew, and end of it you can tell that players are shattered.
But they'll have lots of time to prepare before their next game.
Yes, us as well here, gives the crew a chance to earn a much earned break.
Hydrate.
Speaking of a well earned break, hey, not bad that. Mikulski tries to zing that one down the sideline. Inbounds, but not quite in the end zone just yet. Patrese has it on the line, and that's going to ask a lot of his receiver. Too much in the end, too far for the laying out player. Well, it didn't lay out in the end because it was too far. It's got to be frustrating because you're so close and you just don't quite have the execution you need on the end zone line.
Yeah, I think that's slightly downwind as well. So just tipping that disc slightly further away than intended.
Love those American Stars and Stripes sand socks.
Oh, wonderful.
Very on brand from, I think that is Richard Russell. And that one in the middle is...
There's a lot of grumbling on the sideline about this call.
Yeah, something that I think, that I hope we will see from, veteran Ultimate players is that their heckle game will also be well seasoned throughout the years.
Just seeing a replay here.
Oh, it was probably close, but in the end, I think deciding that didn't have full control of it. So it's going to be a Mountain Beaches disc. Schwartz with the D.
I do want to clarify the grumbling on the sideline was from the Merica teammates and not Mountain Beaches being unspirited.
Yes, yeah. All in good fun. As that hammer, helix a little bit, and Mikulski couldn't wrap his mitts around it.
Again, it's that jumping. You think you can jump so much higher than you actually can on sand.
It's tricky because you want to get a good plant to take off, and the more pressure you put on it, the more you sink into the sand. It's there's a real art to moving on the surface.
Nice break to Kale.
And they're just kind of working a little bit more patiently here. They're not getting a huge amount of vertical movement, but they're kind of the horizontal lateral movement is, they're slowly inching their way down the pitch, and Lawrence will sit one out into space. Bid from Mikulski, but Merica come up with a disc. A break to start the second half, and they're going to take an 8-3 lead here.
Awesome diving bid, from both players. It's really what you like to see in the end zone.
Absolutely, both players fully going for it. That time it's Merica who come up with the disc. But as you've seen, it's not always going to go your way. This one, a little bit of an adjustment because it was slightly behind Lawrence. And the defender maybe takes one step too many to the break side, and the throw's just kind of sat out in front. It invited the bid, but fortunately for Merica, bid did not quite get there in time, and they will now take an 8-3 advantage. First point in the second half. Go.
I have heard it's more beautiful than Sardinia.
I don't know if I'd go that far. It's a very different kind of island.
I see.
They very much both have their own merits. This is dicey indeed. Pinned deep in their own end zone. Instead, just try and huck their way out of it, but it doesn't work. Thinks about the jump in. It's not quite there.
That was a punishing pull from Merica, just trapping them on the sideline and in the end zone. Such a difficult situation to get out of.
Difficult to field. So by the time you're bringing the disc in play, the defense is already set, and Merica take advantage of the short field turn. Lovely execution there in the red zone for a 9-3 lead.
Just simple ultimate. Just get free, run to the open side.
And this is why it's useful if you can work it around the back, because, we'll say it. I've said it before already today, and we'll say it again this weekend. Just one misstep on beach can be the difference, because it's so difficult both offensively and defensively after pulls well enough. So I think we need to credit Merica there, because they did a very good job. Just a little give go in the handler set there. To try and get the play moving. But it turns, bid from Schwartz, but it's going to hit the floor. I think there is actually the half taped on the back, but you cannot quite see it there. White on white, not ideal.
No. Merica initially had 2 roster number 1s.
They found a creative way out of it.
They certainly did. Maybe
Feldman looks for a dump, doesn't quite see it. Sorry, Ali. And then the dish off from that break side, inside flick.
Yeah, not sure who was on knee there. Perhaps a miscommunication from the Mountain Beaches side, a switch gone unswitched.
But if you do see that maybe there's a miscommunication, Merica punished that very effectively.
Very unforgiving.
I mean, we mentioned, it's so difficult to cover everything.
And even, different beaches have kind of different feels to them. So it's not like you can just sort of play enough beach on one beach and be good. It's never quite the same.
Another deep pull there by Merica, but this time credit to Mountain Beaches because they found a much better way out of it. At midfield now with Mathieu. Trying to sneak one in there. Player came in to get a bit of a bop and maybe a slight bump, but held the catch well under the physicality. René. Shot towards the end zone. There's a diving bid. That's really well brought in by Mathieu. And that'll be another point for the Mountain Beaches.
Incredible Hail Mary throw there. And yeah, kudos to that number 70 for bringing that down. It's not an easy throw, not an easy catch. But it all makes for a fabulous goal.
Yeah, we'll see again here on the replay that there's a lot of blading angle to this throw. And it makes it difficult to try and bring in, especially as it's low towards the ground. But it's very well to get that hand underneath it before it hits the sand.
Camera is pointing, so.
And why not give it a go? Because it could be very effective, and if not, at least it's it's an opportunity to give it a bit more of a test for a different game. But it does look like they're going to come down one-on-one here. Lovely high release over the top. Defender never even saw it. Davidson finds McGee cutting up the line. And then towards the far side of the end zone. Oh, the throw just seemed to catch a little bit of an air bounce and went over the receiver's head. So a turnover there.
This could be a chance for Mountain Beaches to get a quick break and maybe start a comeback train.
Just showed a little bit too much of the underside of the disc to what wind there is, and the wind was more than happy to come to the Swiss Belgians' aid as they try and sneak one through a very narrow window, and it's not there to be had. Can Merica capitalise at the second time of asking? They can Indeed, in short order.
Yeah, just an unfortunate, I think, miscommunication with the cutter and the handler there, or perhaps just a slightly too high release. Some throws are just, once you get past a certain angle, they're just very hard to get out flat once you've put your arm up in the air.
And then it looks like maybe for the score that both the handler and the legendary John Isner Nicolas Mahut match at Wimbledon, you know, that took like 3 days.
Oh,
and by the time they finished, you know, I was like, oh, you've won, congratulations, you're pretty much straight back on. And it was just clearly absolutely shot.
Yeah, no, that's not a fun experience.
So Mountain Beach is here, trying to find an option down the line, layout snag, here we go. That is lovely.
Absolutely incredible bid from Patrese there. Just, you know, not dragging the line with his foot, but he was sort of colliding with the line with his shoulders, but technically in, and what an incredible score.
Yeah, you know, maybe they say that, you know, really good, those spectacular catches maybe sometimes come off slightly dicey throws, and certainly he's given the receiver an opportunity to look good, I think.
Yeah, definitely. Just enough float on it to let him sprint.
As the tournament goes on.
Definitely not. I'm especially really loving the handler pair of Schwarz and the man known as Buddha.
We're going to assume that it's because he is sage and wise, rather than for physical appearance. As far as I'm aware, Buddha didn't have a great big bushy beard, but I must admit that it's been a long time since I looked into the matter. Oh, came in for the poach, didn't get it, and that's given an opportunity for Merica to take advantage, moving the disc quickly before that defender can get back into position. Faking around, instead just taking the dump option, high release, low release, getting that mark on the move. And that time a little high release player in plenty of space, just finding any throw that will get it done, and that slight little blading backhand over the mark, taking advantage perhaps of a slight size mismatch, puts Merica 12-5 to the good and just 1 point away from the victory.
Some really, really quick, smooth offense from Merica there, just keeping the score count incredibly low. Tick, tick, tack, in you go.
Yeah, that low average time of possession is usually a good sign, because it means that, you know, as you mentioned, the disc's moving quickly, you're keeping defenders on their heels, you're constantly changing angles of attack, and it's so difficult to cover all that space when, you know, when every time you look up, the disc's somewhere different where it was before.
Yeah, really tough.
One of the things, like 48 for men and 45 for women?
That is correct.
Or turning that age in the year that the tournament is held, so it'd be...
Tournament so far.
Yeah, we was just, you know, there were a lot of teams warming up yesterday, and, you know, after they did their warm-up on the pitch, they warmed up in the bar as well as, just a miscommunication.
So Patrese stopped and started to come under just as Schwarz loves that lovely hook.
It's so frustrating when that happens, especially when the hook comes out nicely, because you just feel like, oh, if only they were just on the same page there.
I had so much faith.
And, well, one bad turn deserves another, I guess. Because a miscommunication that time from the Americans.
Schwarz looking for Patrese again.
Shot towards the far side. And Patrese with the snag in the back of the end zone. Oh, you could tell that Schwarz was looking for it, and wonderful throw to get it there, because it had the right edge, to, you know, tailing towards the break side. That is just tantalising for the defender to get a bit on it, but it was too out of reach.
And needed the full height of Patrese to rein it in as well. Looked like he was pretty full extension, and we'll see it again here.
Yeah, just having a look at it on the replay. Again, you can see it blades early, but this is the defender's taken out very early. What a bid that is by Patrese, because, you know, it's difficult to read as well. With those blades are very high up, you know, often getting the right read. It's interesting because, yeah, on the grass, obviously white shows up best, and there's certainly been a beach tournament, especially if it's rained a bit, where the white disc shows up pretty well. But as you mentioned, on the white Sardinian sands the island is famous for, Maybe it's a little bit, the pink disc is a bit easy to see. Hello, that's a nice hammer. They're keeping it expansive as this game ends.
That was really good heads-up defense from the Mountain Beaches, actually, just man known as Buddha spotting the threat, going to it immediately, and forcing a turn.
You're just seeing it here. De Frondeville, he just slips a little bit there, and it comes off his. He can't quite get his hand set. He's trying to make the catch on his knees, so maybe an opportunity for a break here for the Mountain Beaches. We know now that Schwartz has the arm, but that time, nice little shake and bake, get Buddha free up the line. And now it's Buddha's turn to rip one, looking for an option in the end zone. In the end, it just hung up ever so slightly, and it allowed the American defender to close in. And Mathieu just couldn't come back and attack the disc before the defender could get there. So Mathieu, he's poaching in the middle of the pitch there. They're trying to cause some problems, and they are switching the defense here. So open things up a little bit. Don't go down without showing a couple of things, because you never know. A, it might work, and B, if it doesn't work, at least you're getting a bit more practice of it for future games. Scuba over the top, a salacious little throw, that one. And Feldman with a lead pass down the line, reaching out, dish into the end zone to knee, and that will do it. Merica take the game 13-6. Tell you what, very fun little opening contest, that, Ali.
Yeah, totally agree. We've got some cool overheads, some awesome bids, good spirits. What more do you want? Yeah,
I think that that encapsulates the sort of style of play that we're likely to see. It's the kind of those wily veteran style throws, just finding the space in, opening the bag of tricks to get there. Nice flow into the end zone, as you mentioned. In good spirit, good hand slaps, and they'll go and have the spirit circle, and then have a bit of a rest before their games this afternoon.
Maybe have a bit of a dip in the sea, which is a lot calmer than it was yesterday.
Yeah, yesterday.